Hey there, thanks for checking out this video. This is with DM tips for Call of the Netherdeep, Chapter 5, The Drowned City, a very cool part of the adventure, underwater below the city of Cael in the continent of Marquette. There will be spoilers abounding here, so if you're a player, please come back after you play the adventure and let us know how it went. If you're a DM, this part of the adventure is for character levels 8 for Mission 4 and 9 for Mission 5. And the rivals here are going to be at tier 3, and that's pretty powerful for the rivals. So use caution in their actions if they're going to have a full-on fight with the party. You might want to keep some of them down at tier 2. Just judge that by the strength of how your party is. The page references I'll have here in the description are to the hardcover. Okay, so let's look at this in whole here. This is the whole map of Cael Morrow. Party gets to explore, and there's lots going on in this part of the adventure. So I broke down the adventure, kind of outlined it here with some pacing for 4 hours, or actually 2 4-hour chunks, because it'll take you a good 8 hours, I think, to get through this adventure here, this part of the adventure. So let's look at, for the first 4 hours, this would be Mission 4 from the previous chapter, where the party's working for one of the factions. In the first hour, they're going to enter. Well, you could do character introductions, recaps, go over how the rivals are doing, and then discuss Mission 4 with them on the pages noted there. And this mission will vary. So if you're doing the Alliance Mission 4, they're looking for a double agent. If you're doing the Consortium Mission 4, they're looking for a key to the Netherdeep. And if you're doing the Cobalt Mission 4, they're looking to make an alliance with the Allegiance, because the Allegiance holds access down here. So back to the Allegiance Mission 4, the double agent. So the first or second hour 1 to 2, they could enter Cael Morrow, travel to the Allegiance base camp, and meet with Insight Acuere. So we zoom out here. They come down here at the bottom of this pit into Cael Morrow. At the bottom of the stone column, there's going to be an agent down here who's going to be waiting for them. And if they're doing this as part of the Consortium, they have to overcome that agent or deceive that agent to get in here. And if they're doing it as part of the Cobalt, they can definitely get an escort to talk to the professor. Then they'll come through the doors, and this is where they enter underwater. And the underwater has these cool tunnels. Each of these tunnels has a keystone. Let's see if I have a keystone here. Features of Cael Morrow. Barriers, the keystone, armor class 17, 50 hit points, and if you remove it, the water crashes in on the party. So that's something to watch out for. All around here, there's emotions that are coming through, being channeled through an aboleth. So this aboleth, it thinks it's the physical embodiment of the Apotheon, and it layers in the kelp forest, and it can move around. The kelp forest is here. And you can use the ability of it to move around to set the pacing of the adventure. If you don't want the party to run into it, and they really shouldn't in the first 4-hour part, you can have it not here if the party comes to that kelp forest. Okay, then, when they enter different areas, and the Area 2 is the first area that they might enter that this happens in, they experience emotions. These poisoned emotions, they'll have to make saving throws, a DC 10 wisdom saving throw, or the emotion they feel coming from the Elixian or through the aboleth will have some effect on them. Okay, so the party will travel through here. If, again, they're allegiance of all sight, they'll be able to go right into this area. This is a cool little picture here. And I didn't do this when I ran it, but you could definitely take the picture here of the Kenku and the Goliath and make tokens for those two individuals in the adventure. There is one I made here for Insight, who's the professor they're going to see. I just stuck a generic Kenku and a generic Goliath. Okay, so they come in here to meet Insight. And Insight's going to tell them, hey, there's a double agent, don't know who it is, you're free to go explore. And they can provide them with some potions of healing. And then the second part of the Allegiance mission is to explore Cael Morrow. And then the last part is to capture or kill the Consortium spy. And Galeokaerda is the Consortium spy, and Galeo is down here in this building here on the map. building 7. And they have with them a shield guardian. And there's some sorrowfish here swimming around if the party doesn't take the path through the tunnels, but instead comes straight into the chamber there. It's very interesting that these tunnels can just be pushed through. The party can just go through them. Okay, so that's if you're doing the double agent. If you're doing the key to the Netherdeep, the Consortium mission, they will have wanted to enter Cael Morrow, minimize contact with the Allegiance. They'll probably duck through one of the tunnels, so they don't have to go into the Legion's base camp. Then they're going to rendezvous with Galeokaerda, who the other group is trying to capture. And if you're doing the Allegiance Alliance, which the Cobalt mission is, they're trying to earn Insight's trust. So when they talk to Insight, they'll learn how to access the Netherdeep. Any ruidium weapon can do it. And, well, she'll tell them that, after they gain her trust, which they gain by grabbing tablets in area M10. M10 being this building over here, which is the crumbling building they can see to the southeast of the temple. All right. And then, to finish up the missions in the first part, you're going to capture or kill the Consortium spy if they're doing the Allegiance mission. The Consortium mission, they're going to secure a key to the Netherdeep, so they're going to try and find a weapon. And the Cobalt mission, or anything about ruidium, the Cobalt mission, they are going, which they might already have, possibly. In the Cobalt mission, they will try to also acquire a key to the Netherdeep. Now, to set pacing here, you can add and remove random encounters, because there is some random encounters. I have that uncharted, yeah. And you can add or remove rival interactions. You definitely want them to avoid the aboleth in this first part. And you end the first part there with basically their assignment of their next mission. All right, now if you're doing part 2, mission 5, the next 4 hours. Start with character intros, recaps, rivals, and the mission 5 description. And then if they're allegiance, they're going to scout the rift, find a way to open the rift, and enter the rift and confirm ruidium can be found inside. So unfortunately, you're going to want to have like the first room of the next chapter ready to go for this encounter when they get to the end there. Then, if you're doing Consortium, you're going to try to slay the aboleth. They'll explore Cael Morrow and slay the aboleth. And then if you're doing Cobalt, they're going to try to explore Cael Morrow and reason with the aboleth, and if that doesn't work, slay it, which it won't, so they'll end up having to slay it as well. And for pacing, you can move the aboleth around so that you don't have the final encounter with it till like the last hour. You can add and remove random encounters, and you can change rival interactions up. And then they update that cliffhanger, but the cliffhanger will be the mission 6, which goes into the Netherdeep, into the Netherdeep. Okay, so for the map, I've got a copy of the text I used from chapter 4, so you can check my DM tips for that. And I have all this text there linked in the description, so you can just copy and paste it in. It's just an overview of the city of Cael. Then the party enters Cael Morrow through the Maw, which is right here in the Sigil district. And it's described right here in the city, the Maw of Cael Morrow. And outside in the city, when they enter the Maw, for music. For the city, I'd use Desert Bazaar, or Oasis City, or Arabesque. When they look into the Maw, you could do something like Abyssal Gaze. Turn that up a little bit for you. Another good sound is the Ancient Artifact. And this I've been kind of using, kind of themed to the Jewel of Three Prayers and the whole mission of the party. And then when they're underwater down there, I use, in general, the Sunken Temple sound. Turn this up for a second so you can hear it. Really good for Cael Morrow. Turn that back down. Okay, so they come down into Cael Morrow. You have the base of the Allegiance of Allsight. Then you have various ruins. Don't forget the emotions as they come into rooms. I just put this on the GM layer so I don't forget the emotions. This little trick I have here is an invisible token that I click it, brings up across the top here my macro buttons that I can use for room description. So for room 4, I'll bring up its Royal Guest House and its description. When they get to this area here, they'll be able to actually see this door over here. They'll be able to start seeing this encrusted temple or encrusted tower over there. This room here, they could end up having a fight with this giant shark, and that's quite a fight. That's like something to, have near the end of the first session or during the first session sometime. There is an old tavern house with a insane sea elf that lives there. And then we have here the mission, the focus of the two of the missions. The Allegiance is going to find this person as the double agent. The Consortium, the Vermilion Dream, is their person, so they're going to go try and find them and get help from them. The tablets and such, my party never made it to this room. That's unfortunate. So they didn't get to see the tablets in the M8, the submerged library. They didn't get possessed by the ghosts. Then, of course, you have the Temple of Corellon. That's a pretty cool encounter area. You have the barriers. Don't forget the barriers, that they can't approach it. They have a priest of Corellon or a follower of Corellon. And then when they get inside there, or can see inside, get that picture. Got some ruined buildings here. This is where they can find the clay tablets that they can get the Trust of Insight with if they're on the Cobalt mission. M10's got the tablets in there. And if they can read Celestial, they can read what the tablet says. And it just brings more information about the Apotheon. Then you have M13. This is where the, quote, key to the Netherdeep is, where in actuality, in any Rudian weapon can be used as the key to the Netherdeep. And I should put some text here. And it's a good idea to put reminder text if you can, that this is where, in this Death's Kiss monster, there's an axe embedded in its carapace. Okay, then you have this haunted tower, where there is the priest Corellon, and they can help them get into the temple. You have the home of the Elixian Aboleth, and very cool picture of that here when it can see its spawn. You have this tower here, that was the armory tower, and then some serpent maws here hiding in the ruins. If you're running low on time, that's quite a fight, and so you can kind of judge if you want to have that fight depending on how close you are to where you need to be at the end. And you can, downtone it to one of them or two of them, but this at least would give the party a preview of what they're going to face when they go through the rift, if they can fight at least one. And that is it. That's the whole of Cael Morrow. A really cool adventure, really cool part of the adventure. And then finally the party will go through the rift into the Netherdeep. That'll be chapter 6. Look for that DM tip video here in the near future. I hope you have a great time running this and playing this, and let me know how it goes.